So here's the 5 ways I think that they need to improve. Number 5, I think they need to rework the college to WNBA rules. For some reason, which I understand. I understand with the amount of teams that are in the league, and hell, people that are getting drafted still don't need. Some of them don't make the roster, but you have to stay. If I'm not mistaken, you have to stay in the college. If you're a woman basketball player, you have to stay in college for like 3 years before even considering going to the WNBA. Now, when we see people like Paige Becker, when we see players like Aaliyah Boston, when we see players like Zia Cook, these players are good enough to be in the league after their freshman year, but they're not able to. So I think that'll bring. Now, that rule, of course, is going to go alongside some of the other rules that I have, or other improvements. Let me not say rules, improvements. That improvement is going to coincide with some of the other improvements. But, yeah, there should be no reason why, if you can see a player is clearly ready to play in the WNBA after their freshman year or maybe their second year, why that is such, I get it. I get why it's here now. But that is such an an old way of thinking. Like, these players are the best of the best. Like, that basketball is at its all-time high when we talk about talent. Basketball is so good. These kids are so good, whether it's men or women's basketball. There is a man that has one hand, one arm. People know who he is. Has one arm that is damn near possibly can make it to the NBA. That's how cold he is. That should show you the skill level that the league, that basketball is producing at this point. There is a woman, I don't know her name, so shouts out to her, but there's a woman that, and I understand it's different, of course, for professional and non-professional, but there's a woman that goes to local gyms, posts up a camera and be killing dudes. That shows you how talented, and that's not even a professional. That shows you how talented people are playing basketball at this point. So there should be no reason why, if you see that a college athlete that is a young lady is good enough to be in the WNBA her freshman year, there should be no reason why she can't go after her freshman year. I understand why, but let's continue on my list. Number 4. Of 5 ways to improve the WNBA is marketing. For the life of me, people talk about my podcast, right? Every time I go out and ask, yo, how do I improve the podcast? 9.5 times out of 10, somebody tells me marketing. Somebody tells me you need to market yourself better. You need to market the podcast better. You need to be marketable. I can say the same thing for the WNBA. Now, they've been better leaps and bounds over the years. Now, I think that a lot of that is probably due to the last year was, of course, their 25th anniversary. But they just need to do a better job marketing, man. There should be no reason, and I get that, and I respect them for the fact that it's more accessible in a lot. You can watch a WNBA game on Facebook Live. You can watch a WNBA game on Twitch, I believe. You can watch a WNBA game on Amazon Prime. But just do better marketing. This is the same problem that I have with the MLE in baseball now, or MLB in baseball. Now, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as baseball, but market your players better. Mark the fact that a lot of people don't understand. When you look at, let me see the team. All right, let's just talk about my team. Let's look at the Mystics. Why don't we highlight Elena Deladon more? Why don't we talk about the Sparks, the Nabumake sisters? Why don't we highlight, of course they highlight Liz Cambage because of her infectious personality, but you just need to market yourself better. Like, what? I know that this usually happens after the NBA season or towards the end of the NBA season, but why don't, well, actually usually after, but why don't you have uh, Wednesday night games on TNT or stuff like that? I just feel the marketing can be better for the WNBA. You need to there. It doesn't always have to be, well, marketing is definitely financial, but it doesn't always have to be huge things. It's just small things. Market yourself better. Shouts out to people like Highlight Her. Shouts out to people like Monica McNutt, Christine Williamson, Tykera Carter, Janae Rochelle, Ari Ivory, Jasmine Brown. These are some of the women that are front line trying, always hyping the game up, always putting it forward. Well, there should be more people. It should be more. The WNBA should, in my opinion, do a better job on the social team. They just do it. I'm not saying they're not doing a good job. Shouts out to y'all, but just do a better job marketing, in my opinion. That's number 4. Number 3. Now, this was an argument that was kind of big throughout the summer, especially when we talk about the New York Liberty. Improve the travel for every team. There should be no reason why. Again, we talked about this a while ago, but there should be no reason why WNBA players, superstars in the WNBA, takes regular flights. If I went from Washington to California, there's a chance that I could be on the same flight as Elena Delle Donne. That should never happen. Like imagine being on the same flight after a game against the Knicks. Brooklyn is going to play Golden State next. Imagine being on the same. You looking right, and you see Kevin Durant on your flight. Just imagine that. This is the top of the line. This is supposed to be the top league, and you don't have private planes. Now, again, I understand money, but I think the owner of the New York Liberty was willing to pay for everyone to get private planes. Like improve your league. Now they've done great jobs. They've done an incredible job. And shouts out, before I keep going, shouts out to the improvements that the WNBA has made, with the whole pregnancy being out over the years, with no more one and dones, because that was crazy. Shouts out to they're expanding the season to 36 games, I believe. Shouts out to the improvement that they are making, but they need to make more. And one of the biggest ones is upgrade the travel. Again, there should be no reason why a WNBA player has to pay out of their own pocket to upgrade to first class. That's crazy to me. Let alone be on the same flight as people like me. That's just crazy. So that's number 3, man. Number 2, and shouts out to Chinea Bumake for pretty much saying it, they needed to develop a G League. Now, I understand the cost and everything. I keep saying I understand, which I do. But, change ain't going to be made until change is made. Like Janae said, there was like 40-something players that got cut this year. That's literally not on the team. And unless you go play overseas or get picked up for like a hardship contract, you're not going to be playing. So why don't you develop a league so they can go? Why don't you develop a G League so they can go and play, and then you can pick them up? Like, say someone gets hurt and you can pick them up, or so you'll know that they're playing. Like, why don't you get an affiliate? Why don't you get a WNBA affiliate? Why don't you get WNBA affiliates like the affiliate for the Philadelphia 76ers is like the 66ers or something like that. Like, just develop a G League. It can be, I think the WNBA did like the Athletic Unlimited, like that league or something like that. Something like that. It's just there should be no reason why top draft picks get cut and they're searching to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do next. That's crazy. Not to mention the fact that you can create more. So you develop a G League, kind of like what the NBA is doing. Some people just bypass college and now go to the Ignite. You can do the same thing. Paige Becker, say you don't think she's ready, you can draft her after a sophomore year or a freshman year and have her play in the G League for 2 years. Like, there's just ways that you can do this. That's all I'm saying. And number one, and that's to me the obvious one, number one is expand to either 16 to 20 teams. I think there's 12 teams in the league right now. Meaning, I don't know if people are good, geographically, but that means that every state does not have a team. Now, I'm not saying that it just go from 12 to 30. I'm not saying, or 12 to 50. I'm not saying, well, of course not 50, but I'm not saying go from 12 to what the NBA has in 30 or 12 or what the NFL has at 32. What I'm saying is expand it to 20 teams. Again, it goes, number one and number two are kind of like hand in hand as far as why I'm saying that they should be here. There should be no reason why top talent, 40-something women gets waived from a team. Usually in the NBA, if you're not ready, if they don't feel you're ready, if they don't feel like you're good enough to make the final roster, they send you to the G League. The G League is made up of a lot of people that maybe didn't get drafted but tried out for the G League, or players that aren't really ready for the league yet. But they just don't waive them and just say, go figure it out. They try to develop them. Well, that goes with number two, develop a WNBA G League. But number one, you wouldn't have as many players getting waived if you had 16 to 20 teams, not just 12. And on those 12, you hold like 13 roster spots. What sense does that make? So I want to see that now. I'm not saying the WNBA is not flourishing. That's not what I'm saying. The WNBA has grown leaps and bounds since the days of the Monarchs and teams like that, the Storm and stuff. The league has done leaps and bounds. The league is usually front and center when it comes to social justice issues, when it comes to racial issues. The league usually does a great job at stuff like that. So shouts out to the league. I just feel that and people feel too, there needs to be change in the WNBA, especially when you see top talented people that you just drafted not make the team and get waived and get cut, and now you got to figure something out. It's just not right. I just want to see the league flourish to the best of its ability. And while, yes, some of these initial plans, like the G League, like expanded to 20, 16, 20 teams, there might be a loss at first, especially when we talk about money-wise. But when you look, people love basketball, bro. Hell, did you see the women's national championship? How they had like a sold out, a packed arena. In fact, the whole tournament, people were interested in women basketball. People are the WNBA championship when it was Chicago and I think the Aces. Like people are invested in stuff like that, man. So, or Connecticut. I think it was Connecticut. No, it was somebody, but I know Chicago won. It's just. I understand that you may take a loss the first few years, with the G League, or you may take a loss the first few years expanding to a 16 to 20 team league. But overall, it's going to help the product. And overall, after those losses, you're going to see huge gain, in my opinion. So that's my 5 ways to improve the WNBA.